Smith. I'm Isaiah Peoples' defense attorney.
You want to tell us what happened in the arraignment?
Sure. We were given a copy of the complaint that charges 8 counts of attempted murder with special allegations regarding the use of a deadly weapon to wit a vehicle and other special allegations. We waived arraignment, meaning that we did not ask the court to read the 8 counts. And we put over the matter to May 16th for entry of plea. And that's routine in these kinds of cases. It allows me and my team to have an opportunity to review the case, review and gather background information about my client, and present further information on May 16th and decide what course the case is going to take.
Doug, can you say anything at this point about his mental state and if that goes into your strategy?
Sure. I mean, clearly it's a case that his mental state is the issue. There's no real issue in terms of what happened, but his mental state is going to be the battleground in the case. We're going to have him evaluated by the best people we can find, because like all veterans, he deserves the best people we can find. So we're going to find the finest forensic mental health experts in this area. We're going to ask one or more of them to evaluate Mr. Peoples and find out what happened. Because here's a man that, along with the very small percentage of our population, of our citizenry that actually served their country in war, he served our country honorably and admirably. And he's led an otherwise blameless life. So there's no explanation for this other than his service, the things he saw, and what happened to him mentally while serving our country. This is obviously a story that we're seeing unfold in many, many cases across the country. Our state, California, as you all know, has enacted several pieces of legislation in the last few years to recognize that veterans and veterans with PTSD and other mental disorders deserve not to simply be locked up, but rather treated and helped. So we'll be urging the DA and the court to take a view at that kind of resolution of this case rather than simply locking this good man up. He's a religious man. He prays for and cares about the people that were injured, as we all do. We're cognizant of what they've suffered, and we want this case to get resolved in a way that they will understand and help them bring closure to this horrific episode.
Does he express remorse?
I can't talk about my conversations with him, so I don't know if publicly, either in the media accounts or what the police department has talked about, whether remorse was expressed, but obviously I cannot talk about our private conversations.
So just to clarify, are you disputing at all the characterizations from the police that this was an intentional act, that he intentionally ran over?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how a police...
Absolutely you're disputing it, or absolutely that's
No,
correct?
absolutely we are disputing that this was an intentional act. This act clearly was a product of some mental disorder or mental defect that caused this to happen. So these announcements by the police, even the chief of police, that this was an intentional act and he admitted that he intended to do it, we dispute that. We will challenge that. We don't think it's worth, quite frankly, any consideration.
So how's your client paying for his defense?
Well, that's something between my client and me. He's got a loving family, and his loving family is helping. I've worked with many veterans over the years, and I think I owe it, as well as my team members owe it, to help these people and help them in a way that is not going to enrich any of us, but allows us to provide a public service to veterans. And so that's where I'm coming from in terms of talking about compensation.
How's his family doing?
His family is hanging in there. I've had many conversations with his mom, his cousin, his brother, and again, they just seem like good, solid people. They talk about his character. They talk about the things he's done, how he's cared for sick and elderly people in his own family, selflessly and diligently. And he just sounds, from everything I've heard about him, to be just a fine man.
And who's here with him in court today? Who were some of those people?
I'm sorry?
Who came to court today? Who were some of the family
cousin and his cousin's son.